What is your driving force? Where is it taking you to? And is there a finish line? Welcome to PSA. My name is Felix if you're new around here. And if you're back, I want to thank you again and again for the continued support. So the other day, I had my wife sitting on the floor filming me while I was skateboarding. And I know you're probably like, whoa, she must really love you. What I did was I pulled my, it's till death do us part card on her. And honestly, I was like, you might lose me a little quicker this way. I'm kidding. But seriously, I was questioning, why was I sitting here in this parking lot struggling to film a trick? And for what reason? When is enough enough? In conversation, my wife mentioned how while she was at the Beyonce concert, she was so impressed by all of it and how Beyonce, regardless of all her successes, she outworked everyone. She then went on to say how she questioned if she had worked hard enough on the Beyonce Adidas collaboration when she was designing it. I think this is one of the reasons why I love my wife so much, that humility, but also that weighty sense that she has to be of service to others. I know, it seems like I'm all over the place, but what I'm talking about here is ambition. When is too much ambition toxic? And where do we draw that line? Personally, as soon as I finish a project, I'm focused on what I could have done better, and I'm never completely content on anything that I do. This could be a good thing, but it's also very intoxicating. We want to live a life that makes a difference, but just how much should we sacrifice for it? We are all gonna die someday, but when we look at the dash, what is it gonna say? That dash between the birthday and the day that you leave this earth. Are you living a life of consequence and making moves that are significant? There's a glitch in the matrix that is worldly ambition, and it will distort our perspectives and lead our soul to death if we're not careful. Living solely for self-love will actually lead you away from real love. Selfless love draws you closer to it. We need to tame and direct our ambitions towards the right things. They say all religions are the same, but right here, Buddhism would have led you to squelch your desire. I want to light it on fire, and on fire for God. The world needs God, and He uses us to make Him visible to them through our gifting. The world alone can crush your soul, but the world with God can liberate it. Let's trade our worldly ambition for a holy ambition. In the scriptures, even after Jesus was recorded speaking well and doing well, and even after realizing miracles, the Pharisees were against His plans for God's people. In John 12:42 it says, "Yet at the same time, many, even among the leaders, believed in Him. But because of the Pharisees, they would not openly acknowledge their faith for fear that they would be put out of the synagogue, for they loved human praise more than the praise of God." The leaders valued the praise for their efforts more than what God's word had for them. As respected leaders with the following, what could God have accomplished with them if they would have leaned in to Jesus' teachings? If you're familiar with the scriptures, we see what God was able to do with Paul, who was so far away from Him, he actually changed eternity. If you're not familiar with Paul, get familiar. Where is the space you are keeping from God that merges your worldly ambition with the Holy One? Here's a hint. Holy ambition is sparked by something greater than you. It asks what the purpose of this project is and these people I'm working with. Nothing begins without a why. Now, although we may make it look good, This has been such a difficult season of uncertainty for our families' lives, but we know that God sees our reverence for Him through our obedience in Him, in the harmony that we maintain as a family, and in us honoring Him with the gifting in our lives. When this hierarchy is in order, God first, then family, how we function afterwards should work itself out because it comes from an overflow of the order that is in our lives. You will never reach your God-given potential without God first. And I know not everyone who's watching believes in God, and a lot of you may think you're doing just fine on your own. But do you really want to risk what you could have accomplished with God on your side? Yes, I know it's hard to switch our worldly ambition that we're seeing results for in real time for our efforts for an unseen godly ambition that needs your faith to actively make it seen. But I want you to know there's a new chapter in your life that God writes with a pen full of grace as ink on our hearts. And I want to challenge us this week to take some inventory of our ambitions. Why is it that you have them? Why is it that you care about what you care about? And where is it leading you and others to? Humor me. In closing, I want to give you a verse to meditate on while you take inventory. It's in Hebrews 12, 1 through 3. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. Maybe, just maybe, with a little tweaking, our paths can start pointing more towards a holy direction and ultimately unlock the God-given potential for all of us to benefit from. Until next week, let's love more, and I'll see you at the next PSA. Anybody else suffer with chronic ambition? Nah, I know, it's only me. Anyway, check out some of these other videos. Share them with the first person that comes to mind. That's why we do this. Share some comments on some of your ambitions and your dreams. I'd love to hear from you guys. Take care.